Welcome back to the Crypto World channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now, Ethereum is testing a very important level on the chart. This is not something to ignore because if we can break this level, then that will set up some brand new price targets that I will be paying attention to, and I will reveal in just a moment in this video. As well, Ethereum is also forming a brand new pattern here on the lower timeframes, so stay tuned for that. And after the Ethereum versus Bitcoin chart dipped into my buy target just here, so far it has continued to head to the upside, so I will be giving you guys another update on this towards the end of the video. So make sure you're watching this video all the way from start to finish so that you're not missing out on any of this valuable information. And if that sounds good to you, just before we jump into it, make sure to leave a like on the video down below. And if you're new to the channel, you might as well subscribe with notifications turned on for more update videos just like this every single day. But anyway, with all of that out of the way, let's get straight into what this video is about. So right here, we're on the Ethereum to US dollar chart on the 4-hour time frame. And yeah, as I mentioned in the intro of this video, right now Ethereum is actually potentially breaking above resistance. What we need to see is, of course, some candle closes above it and possibly a retest, and definitely some more volume picking up here, because right now the volume is actually still declining as the price is heading a little bit higher, which is something to be skeptical of the current price action, because the more volume we see, the more confident we can be in the move to the upside, because the lower the volume, the more we're technically at risk of a potential throwback to the downside. That's all that means. And the reason why I'm looking at this level in particular is simply because of the fact that we turned around as soon as we hit that level last time around. This was during the middle of September, and it was during the middle of a downtrend, and clearly the trend has shifted to the upside. So if anything, if we do see a small rejection from this level, I actually don't expect a whole lot of bearish price action like what we saw back here. If we do get some sort of turnaround here, then the first area that I would be paying attention to is this range just here. That's ranging from around 3.5k to 3,550. And the reason why that is major support for Ethereum now is simply because that is the golden pocket. When you're bringing out the Fibonacci tool just here, you can clearly see this is the golden pocket, and our next resistance, by the way, to the upside, while we've got the Fibonacci levels here, is the 78.6% Fibonacci level coming in at just above 3.7k, more specifically at around 3,730. And by the way, this level just here is coming in at around 3,630. So those are the two resistance levels to break above in the immediate short term. And if we can start breaking well above 3.7k, above that 78.6% Fibonacci level, and breaking above this previous high just here, then I would expect Ethereum to pretty quickly head up towards 4,000 US dollars. And that's where I would expect the next resistance to come into play at around 4k. Now, what would happen if we get a rejection here and we can't actually hold that golden pocket level? Well, obviously in the immediate short term, that would be a little bit more of a bearish sign. But in that case, I'll be looking at this line of support just here, considering the fact that it has held a support 3 times over the past few days. And right now, this line of support is currently coming in at around 3.4k. So we've got a decent amount of support at 3.4k and a decent amount of support at 3.5k, which is obviously great news for Ethereum holders. And what you can immediately see when you bring out the RSI here on the 4-hour chart is, of course, Ethereum is in a very strong uptrend on this 4-hour time frame in the RSI. We're constantly holding this line of support, and right now that's coming in at around 57 on the 4-hour RSI for Ethereum. And for a brief moment, a couple days ago, we actually saw a very small bearish divergence. You can see here, we were seeing higher highs in the price of Ethereum, but some lower highs in the RSI. So in the immediate short term, back then that was a little bit of a bearish divergence, but the fact that we've flipped the golden pocket into support, this is a big deal. And the fact that we're still holding this upwards trending support line in the RSI, this is a big deal. It's only after we start losing some of these important support levels, in that case, that's when we could expect some slightly lower price targets to come into play, like 3.4k, for example. But as of right now, we're simply not seeing that. We are holding these important levels of support, which is obviously great to see for Ethereum holders. Now, zooming into the 2-hour time frame for Ethereum, this is the new pattern that is currently forming on the chart. For the beginners out there, this is known as a rising wedge pattern because it's tilting to the upside. And traditionally speaking, a rising wedge pattern is meant to be a bearish pattern, which basically just means it's technically more likely to break to the downside. So about 7 times out of 10, this type of pattern breaks to the downside, and around 3 times out of 10, it breaks to the upside. So even though it's called a bearish pattern, it's still not impossible for us to break to the upside. I want to make that clear. It's just technically a little bit more likely to break to the downside, that's all. But first of all, getting into the support and resistance, the support right now is coming in at around 3.6k, and the resistance right now is coming in at around 3,670, 3,680. Obviously, those levels are changing over time depending on how long we get to those levels. But what you basically need to know about this pattern is if we're breaking support with confirmation, then we're breaking to the downside, and that's where the price target will come into play. But if we're breaking the resistance to the upside with confirmation, then that's when we can look at perhaps the 78.6% Fibonacci level as maybe maybe our next price target to the upside. But yeah, the main price target for this pattern is the bottom of the wedge. Traditionally speaking, if we break support, a lot of the time that is where we normally end up. And right now, the bottom of the wedge is coming in at just above $3,500 US, which is exactly where that golden pocket is coming in at. So we've got huge support at that level just there. We already know that. So it's totally possible for Ethereum to head back towards 3.5K if we break that support at 3.6K first. And now giving you guys a quick update on Ethereum valued against Bitcoin, because right now we're potentially forming a brand new W pattern on the chart. As you can see here, this is the 4-hour time frame, and what we need to see to actually confirm this W pattern is simply a break above the neckline. And right now this is coming in at around 0.0672 Bitcoin per Ethereum. So yeah, a strong break above that level just there will confirm the W pattern as breaking to the upside. And in that case, measuring out the technical price target, that is coming in at around 0.07 Bitcoin per Ethereum. So that would be a potential move to the upside of around 4.5%. So not too bad, because that means Ethereum will be outperforming Bitcoin by 4.5% if, of course, we see a break of this line just here. But apart from that, there's actually another level where we could find a bit of difficulty getting above, and that is this previous line of support, because as we know, when we break below support, usually that flips into resistance. Just like how if we break resistance, that usually flips into support, this is the other way around. And right now, this previous support line is coming in at around 0.068 Bitcoin per Ethereum. So we could find a bit of resistance along that level, and in fact, I would not be surprised if we do. And so far, this buy zone that I've mapped out here, which by the way, I mapped out this buy zone before we even got here, that's coming in at roughly around 0.064 Bitcoin per Ethereum, just a little bit either side of that level. And the reason why that's strong support for Ethereum right now is simply because what that level has done for Ethereum in the past. Looking all the way back here, that was previously strong resistance for Ethereum. And then the moment we flipped above it, look here, once we finally broke above that strong resistance point, we actually came back down for a retest, flipped it into support and confirmed it as support then and there. And then we came back down almost 3 weeks later for another test and got a perfect bounce along this exact range of support. And it's only just recently that we've come back down towards this exact range of support. Because zooming out further on the chart here, taking a look at these last bearish periods in the chart, what we can see is usually we have around a 30% retracement to the downside, like what we saw back in February and March towards the beginning of this year. And then also during May and June this year, we had a pretty similar correction, around a 34% correction to the downside. And so far, from the recent high at around 0.079 Bitcoin per Ethereum to this recent low in this buy area just here, that's been around a 20% correction. So according to these previous massive corrections on the Ethereum versus Bitcoin chart, we could possibly have maybe another 10% move to the downside before more bullish price action kicks in. But either way, just going off all of this previous price action and the current trend that Ethereum versus Bitcoin is in, technically speaking, it's actually more likely that we are closer towards a bottom right here than we are towards the top. And don't forget to follow me over on my Twitter to get all of these extra updates throughout the day. So for any of you that want to stay up to date at all times, definitely make sure you're following me over on my Twitter. And the link to my official Twitter is in the description down below. It's this one with around 29,500 followers. Any other Twitter account that's not the one that's linked in the description is a scammer. So please be aware of that, because at the moment, unfortunately, there are some scams going around. And just know this for sure. Right now, I do not have a Telegram. I do not have a WhatsApp. I do not have any private trading groups, and I do not send any direct messages over on Twitter. So if you get anything like that, it is a scam. So just be careful as well, because there's also some scammers in the comment section down below. And if you enjoyed this video or got something valuable out of this video, make sure to drop a like down below. And if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe with notifications turned on for more updates just like this every day. I really do appreciate all of your support on the channel at the moment. We're actually still on track to hit 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year. And that would be absolutely crazy if we could do that. I honestly think that we could do that if we all work together. And especially with those of you that are sharing these videos around with your friends and family, considering the amazing opportunity that we are seeing right now in the market. But anyway, that's really everything I have to say for this video. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.